Hello friends, as you probably heard, recently, Dictator of America, Donald Trump, kidnapped the dictator of Venezuela. We think there is a need to talk about this subject in this video. Do you agree?
Yes, I certainly agree. I was very disturbed when I heard this news.
Very disturbed. Why?
Because, big things are happening for not necessarily good reason, and it's questionable whether the effects will serve the people. That's how I think.
I think people must be very happy all over the world because they see a bad guy is punished, is sitting in the jail right now.
Right. So people should feel satisfied that one more dictator is gone. But do they?
Yes, that's a problem. After this person has gone, the other might take his position and become the next dictator.
Right. So we are not, of course, we don't live in the United States of America, thankfully. We are quite far from the situation there. And we don't really, we are not discussing too much political things, even between two of us. Some things happen, so sometimes we discuss it, but it's kind of hopeless kind of range of subjects. So we don't discuss it very often, and we wouldn't want to make this channel about political subjects. However, some things where they are actually significant. And in this case, just aside of what looks on the surface, I think that from our perspective, and maybe yours as well, just the normal people sitting at home and trying to figure out what is happening, what is most important is what will happen to the people of Venezuela in this case, right? Because yes, there was a quite terrible system there, second dictator in the row, and it was not good. And people were protesting, they were trying to fight for independence. Is anything going to change right now? This is my biggest worry. So you started saying Dictator of America, Donald Trump. Now that's a little bit ironic because he's supposed to be from the greatest democracy in the world. But is he? What do you think about Trump right now?
I made a video how many months ago. Back then I already knew that he is a crazy person and he will keep on being crazy for the rest of his life, no matter how long it will be. I hope it will be short. At least the life of president, of being president of America. And he just constantly proves that he only knows how to do stupid things. And people living in America start to wake up and realize, okay, they maybe made a bad choice. And this is a good thing, right? But nothing is happening in America right now yet.
All right. And in the meantime, we have situations like this. Now, it would be good if, even some bad, crazy guy would accidentally or on purpose do something useful, do something good. I don't know if it ever happens that the bad guys do really good things, but it would be good. But I just have very little hope, or at least so far it doesn't look like it was a good decision.
Yes, it was a shock for me. I thought that Trump, who is a crazy guy and suddenly did something right, which is it is really an anti-human, anti-earth thing happening.
Right. So then again, we are not experts on politics or on, sociology or something like this. So we try to look at the things from the normal human perspective. Now, he kidnapped dictator. Who is ruling there now?
Some woman from the previous government.
Is he even talking? He or the whole government of United States, are they even talking about democracy in Venezuela and anything, the freedom for people? Because I only heard talking about oil, talking about money.
Yes, I am wondering as well. Trump did this for a reason. So what is the reason behind this action?
And people may speculate what is the reason, and we certainly are not sure what is the true reason. But it's more and more clear what is not the reason. And it looks like that the people are not the reason. Doesn't look like he cares about the Venezuela at all.
Yeah, looks like so for now.
And this is very sad, because that's why a little bit, I guess, even if we are not an experts, but we have this feeling that something needs to be said about it. Like we, the normal citizens, the nobodies, we cannot be completely silent, because hopefully the more people will say that, hey, something is wrong, something is not working as it should, maybe this will slowly build up this pressure from the bottom, to somehow keep the things controlled. What do you think?
I think actually, I think that normal people, after they heard this news, they immediately assume that is a beginning of a change, and then what will happen next will only be good thing. However, it is not really like this. What will happen in the next should be it depends on the people who live in this country, Venezuela. So the people, they have to make some effort to really make their own good life, right?
Right.
So it doesn't really depend on America or other people.
Not directly, or not in the first place, maybe. But I guess this is the situation where the people from inside, they may need some support, some help.
This is very important when they know that they are not alone. They have support. They have the courage to make the change.
And the question is, are they being supported? Or maybe they are just being used?
Or maybe it's not so important if they believe that the whole world care about them and they actually can make change in their own country. They have the motivation and they want to make it right.
It's just hard to believe that in this case, the American administration cares about them when all they talk about is oil and money.
Well,
so I don't know. I think that this is a very weird situation, and generally, because it's not isolated thing in the last years, world is kind of going in a little bit unstable condition, step by step. And I think that this year we are in the worst situation than we were a year ago, less stable and more uncertain. And this kidnapping of dictator by other dictator doesn't help to stabilize the international opinion, I think. Because what it means in the end also, just aside of the fact that Maduro was a dictator and he should be removed, and the people of Venezuela should take care about their country as a whatever, if they choose democracy, and they certainly wanted to choose democracy. Yes? Aside of this, that means that any strong country can harass the smaller neighbor only because they want something. And they can use excuses, whatever they want. But if they don't prove that the intention is good, then it only means that, again, we have the jungle around, around the world, and only the strongest are important.
Yes, it shows us that who has the power, who can do whatever they want.
So overall, we don't like the situation that it happened in this way.
Yeah, okay, in this way, yes, that's true. But we still hope that something can happen.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly hope that Venezuela, as quick as possible, will become a completely functional, democratic, and independent country.
Right, you know that as a Chinese, I have a lot to say about this,
Really?
Although I want things to happen, however, I think I'm very small. I'm very weak. I cannot do too much to make things really happen. So what do you suggest Venezuela people do in this situation?
This is hard because they should do what they were doing until now, yes? There were protests there, people were active politically, they were going for elections, supporting the rightful candidates. And they were fighting, so they were doing what they wanted, and they were asking for international help. Yes, opposition leaders, they were looking for some attentions around the world.
Are you aware that they will be, there is a risk of any injury or even lose their life?
Well, already people lost their life when Trump kidnapped Maduro, yes, or whatever. Like there were some civilians dead because of this.
So what should people do to keep them safe or to fight?
I think right now in this situation, people should not trust too much the big powers, unfortunately. I think we live in the times when people have to be very skeptical and really push to keep the promises and to keep the values. Right? We don't trust anybody right now.
Very good answer.
Now, let us know what you think. It looks like we have at least 3 viewers from United States, and maybe there is somebody from Venezuela. So you can write your comments. Now, I am from Europe, yeah? And Europe might be the next in some type of weird disturbance related to United States, since Trump is obsessed with Greenland right now, for whatever silly reason. So that's how it looks like. It really looks like the world is getting more and more unstable. So we wanted to also make this video right now to have some type of testimony of the current time. So next year maybe we will see if the world is better than that right now, or maybe even more unstable. What do you think?
Have you heard of this rumor? First Venezuela, then Iran, and then Russia, and then North Korea.
I mean, it's a rabbit hole, really. If you start to think about this, it has no sense at all. There are huge protests in Iran currently, and they are not fresh protests. People in Iran, they fight for their rights since a long time, and many people suffered and were killed there by a regime. Where is the Trump? Why he's not helping? They bomb some kind of nuclear sites, and that's it. They don't care about the people. Russia, again. Russia, Putin is a friend of Trump. Trump is not ready to do anything, not only for Ukraine, obviously, but when Russia will become a normal country finally. So this is so, double-faced, so hypocritical approach. I mean, there are many places where people need some support from outside, but the support should be support for the people, not only grabbing the oil and the money. That's what matters, I think.
Yes, I agree.
So that's it. We just wanted to share with you our thoughts about the situation, because it really disturbs us a little bit.
Yes. Okay, let's finish this video.
Yeah.
I
hope that next week we can make some simple, funny subject about maybe tourism or maybe relationships, something, very nice, not this type of heavy subject.
Stressful.
Yeah, it's very stressful.
Okay. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.